I was cleaning in my drawer and I found a couple of things that I thought would be fun to share with you, including this Goshuin book, these stickers and many more, and a map of Tokyo which I randomly bought at one of the bookstores, but this is no ordinary map. This is a map from the Edo period, which was over 200 years ago, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history of how the city of Tokyo was built later in this video. But first I'm going to show you my stickers collection that I'm going to give away to one of you. All you have to do is comment something nice. Here we have the first sticker, Naruto. We also got Sasuke. This sticker is one funny one because I got it from a random guy and he was like, "You want a sticker?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." This is an egg. And there's meaning behind this one. It's from Hakone, which is a region in Japan that is famous for black eggs, and they are supposed to make you live longer if you eat them. This one, a cow. I think I got this one from Don Quixote, which is the best store ever. More Sasuke. Yeah, I remember I bought this one. This is from the Oshinoko anime. I haven't watched it yet, but I think it's super cute and I like the holo. Yeah, I really want to put these stickers on something, but I'm giving them away, so remember to comment something. This one is from that cartoon, Bambi. A skateboarding sticker. Really wants me to start skateboarding again. Ah, this one too. I think this is some kind of temple. This one, no idea what it says. Another one, if you're a fan of having stickers saying something and you don't know what they say but it looks cool, then this is for you. You know the people who have random tattoos of some Asian letters but they think it means one thing but in reality it means something else. Yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting now. Ever since I was a child I loved looking at maps. This map is from before 1945, before Tokyo got bombed by the Allies. That's when most of the city was destroyed, and that's why I think this map is so unique and interesting, because it gives us a look at the original Tokyo. Edo period is from 1600 to 1850, I believe. When most people look at the map of Tokyo, they question themselves like, where's the center? And most people will assume that the Imperial Palace is the center of Tokyo. And that's wrong. So the actual center of Tokyo is this bridge in Nihonbashi, conveniently called Nihonbashi Bridge, built in 1603, right when the Edo period started. And the reason for this bridge being the center is because this is where the 5 main roads met. These roads were built to unify Japan into one, to connect all the different parts of Japan together. They didn't stretch far, but it was the beginning. If you look at Google Maps of the modern Tokyo, you will barely see any rivers in the central part of Tokyo. And the reason for that is because there's so many roads that were built over the top of the rivers. For instance, this Nihonbashi bridge, which goes over this river, which was man-made actually. This river is barely seen because the expressway was built on top of the river, like above. And that's kind of insane for me. But yeah, a lot of these rivers that go towards the Imperial Castle and around and flow out into the ocean are all man-made. And the reason for making them is to have easy access for transportation, so the boats could easily access the city and all the city parts, but also for defense purposes. If you look closely on the map, you'll see that some parts of the city have a pattern, and these are regions around Ginza and Nihonbashi. And the reason for that is because this is where the merchants lived. But if you look on the opposite side of the castle, towards Iidabashi, Sudobashi, Ochanomizu, these regions, they don't have this strict structure and they are more spacious. And the reason for that is because this is where the samurai lived and the people of upper class. At this period of time, the caste system was used. So you had a triangle, and this triangle was divided into 4 sections. And at the top you had samurai, then peasants, artisans, and merchants at the very bottom. Because merchants were the least important people, because without them you could live fine, but without peasants, which are responsible for food, it would be much more difficult. So they were higher than the merchants. And this is very interesting because it's kind of the opposite of the Europe, because in Europe merchants had much higher status, and then at the top you had priests, and yeah, it's way different than it was at this time in Tokyo. So the principle of this main circle was used, that if you start from the center of Imperial Palace and then you move the circle outwards, and the further out you get, the lower level you are. And that's why the region of Ginza and Nihonbashi is where the merchants lived, and they had very little space, and this lot space is still the exact same today. If you go to this region, you will see very tiny buildings that take up the same small lot space, but they are tall. Meanwhile, if you go on the opposite side to Idabashi, the lots are much bigger and the buildings are much wider. So yeah, samurai got a lot of space. The lower level samurai got a little bit less space, but were still very close to the Imperial Palace and had much more room compared to merchants. And the last thing I want to share with you from this map that I found quite interesting is the elevation. So before, the border between ocean and land, it went right here, crossing Ueno, right underneath Imperial Palace and further south. All of the land south of the Imperial Palace is reclaimed, meaning it was ocean. Everything was ocean here before. And the castle was kind of built on the beach in a way. And if you have ever been to Ueno, you know that there's a huge lake, and this lake is the remnants of the ocean, but they kept it and built land all around it. And obviously, the closer to water you are, the more prone you are to flooding. And this is the reason for why poor people lived close to the ocean, because they were more likely to be flooded and their houses ruined, etc. Meanwhile, rich people, they lived higher up. I also find it quite funny how a lot of these regions were so underdeveloped compared to now, like Ikebukuro. There's nothing here on this map, meanwhile today it's packed. And I like that this map shows today's location of the railways, like all these colored lines. This is where railway goes today, and it still follows like the original roads that were made in the Edo period. Edo period. So yeah, this is the map. Very interesting. Hope you learned something new. Before I tell you about this very precious book, you might have noticed that I now have on a turtleneck. Well, no, that's not what I was going to tell you. What I was going to tell you is that my goal for 2025, this new year, is to make a new YouTube video every single week. Do you believe in me? Do you think I can do it? If so, please subscribe and we'll see if I can. This book is called the Goshuin book. There are so many temples and shrines everywhere in Japan. Fun fact, shrines and temples are actually not the same. For some of you it might be obvious, but I didn't know the difference before. There are 2 religions in Japan, Buddhism and Shintoism. At most of these shrines and temples you can get a monk to hand draw for you this honorable red seal. And it's kind of an approval that you have visited this shrine or temple. It costs around 300 to 500 yen, so not that expensive. And I definitely think it's worth it as some kind of memory or a souvenir, as long as it's handwritten and not a stamp, because I think those are boring. So in a way, it's kind of a donation that you're giving to this temple or shrine, and in return getting something. So if we look at all these seals I have acquired, there's one problem. And that problem is that I don't know where I got, or I know the places, the shrines and temples I visited, but I don't know which of these seals belongs to which temple or shrine. And we are going to try and figure that out together right now. So this first one is, I guess, from this Kyoto temple called Kiyomizu Temple, and it's very famous. The next one is a difficult one. Okay, I know this first sign. This is up. So I think this stamp is from Ueno, somewhere in Ueno. And unfortunately there's a bunch of temples and shrines there, but I think it's the central one. So I think I got two stamps there, one from the Shinto temple and one from the Buddha temple, but I don't know which one's which. Yeah, actually you can see there's the kanji for park. As you see, I am not that great in reading Japanese language. Next one is this one, and it's a stamp one. That's why I have it on a separate piece of paper. I got two more. Okay, it looks cool. I like the way it looks. I don't understand it, but it's kind of beautiful. Oh wait, maybe it's the one from Asakusa. Actually, it might be, but I don't know why I have two. Did I have two temples there? But I really like this book, so you can write on both sides, and I just lost a bookmark. So these bookmarks do help a lot, because I wouldn't have known that this is from Kyoto, but because they give you this additional bookmark, you can remember which seal belongs to which temple. Okay, so now I'm pretty sure the first one is from the Kyoto temple, because this is where I bought this book. The second and third one is from Ueno. As I told you when we looked at the map, this is where the line between land and sea was before, and this pond on where the shrine is located is a reminder of where the sea level was at before all this land was reclaimed. And then the next one, yeah, this one, okay, actually I remembered. So this separate one on this piece of paper is from Nikko, and these two last ones are from Asakusa. That's my guess. I might be wrong, but I believe it is. And I don't have any more, because 500 yen might not sound like a lot, but 1, 2, 3, 4 stamps and you're up to 2000 yen, and that's like 2 decent meals for dinner. So it adds up quickly. That's it for the Goshuin book. Now I have some bonus content, and this is like kind of like a Goshuin book, but it's for trains. It's for collecting train stamps. And I have been doing that. I've been trying to collect as many as possible, and I even wrote a short memo for each time I collected the stamp. It's free, that's the advantage, and it's kind of more fun, but not as unique as getting a hand-drawn seal. So there's a bunch of stamps here, and I've already made a dedicated video for collecting train stamps. You might be interested in checking that out, but it's also a fun activity to do if you are in Japan. This has been it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, which should be next week. Hopefully I can do it for at least half a year, not giving up, making a new video once a week. It's not as easy, believe me. It can't be as easy as you want it. I could just make some random talking video about something I'm doing or interested in, but I'm trying to make these videos as entertaining and cinematic as possible, so it takes some time. And also, I'm very perfectionist and I overthink things a lot. Okay, bye.